Hello, hello. Another day, another super cracked um, project here to highlight on Scroll. Very excited. I know Chainlink has already been part of Scroll from like the Oracle standpoint, but we're announcing something really crazy today. I mean, it's not really crazy. Crazy in terms of like developer enablement, just CCIP. Before I start, hi, I'm Emily. I lead the DevRel team at Scroll, but really what I'm here today to do is invite a super awesome guest, and I'm going to give the mic to you to introduce yourself, and then we'll jump into it.
Thanks for having me, Emily. And yeah, thanks for the Scroll community to have me on. I am Michael Robinson, product marketing at Chainlink Labs, and have been there for just over 3 years, focused specifically on Chainlink CCIP right now. And looking forward to having a great conversation and answer as much as I can about Chainlink CCIP.
Cool. Yeah, so to just briefly go over the agenda, we're going to start off with what in the world does CCIP even stand for? What is it? Dive into about how you guys can start using it for yourself. And then, do a bit of more of a deep dive if we have time with closing remarks. So I think we can just start from the top, right? For those who are uninitiated, what is Chainlink CCIP?
Great, sounds good to me. So, CCIP, Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol, is what it stands for, first and foremost. And in explaining CCIP, I kind of like to explain from a higher level what Chainlink itself is and what Chainlink solves for. And at its highest level, Chainlink solves for the challenge of connecting blockchains to things. Um, I like to give the analogy that Chainlink is to blockchains what the internet is to computers. So blockchains are these incredible, amazing technologies and have all these incredible features and capabilities. But one of the properties that makes blockchains so amazing, secure, and uh, great is that is unfortunately a property as well that limits blockchains from connecting to things like real world data or even connecting to things like other blockchains. And that is where Chainlink comes in. So Chainlink links chains to real world data, links chains to other chains, links chains to compute. The possibilities are really endless. And how Chainlink does that is through what we call decentralized Oracle networks. And you can think of that as a network of node operators that come to consensus about something, be it a piece of data, be it a market price, be it the state of another blockchain, whatever. They come to consensus and feed that output to a blockchain. And so Chainlink can do that, as I mentioned, with various different categories. We're most known for Chainlink price feeds. And a Chainlink price feed uses this concept that I've just mentioned of connecting blockchains to world data by taking, for example, the price of an asset that exists off chain, let's say the price of Bitcoin versus USD, through our decentralized Oracle networks and serves that to a blockchain. Um, Similarly, with CCIP, from a high level, what we're doing is taking the state of one blockchain, feeding that as a message through our decentralized Oracle networks, and serving that to another blockchain. So by doing that, you enable the features of CCIP, which is you can send a message from one blockchain to another. You can send a token from one blockchain to another, or you can send both combined. So a message and a token simultaneously in the same transaction from one blockchain to another. And it's all secure. That information transfer of, send from one chain A to chain B, that information transfer is all secured by Chainlink decentralized Oracle networks, which have been powering DeFi for years. In aggregate, all of the messages that Chainlink Oracle networks have uh, passed to blockchains, all of those messages, they then can be used to do various things, such as on a lending market, such as in derivatives protocols, whatever. And the aggregate value of all of the outputs from Chainlink Oracle networks is over $16 trillion worth of transactional value. Um, and so that kind of speaks. Hey, I'm back.
Okay, cool.
But yeah. Oh,
Hello.
I'm not sure what's happening. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can still hear you. There
Okay.
was two drops offs. I think we ended with CCIP or Chainlink control 16 million, I think you said.
Yeah. So the total value that we've enabled on blockchains is over $16 trillion, which is pretty wild. And yeah, CCIP is just another category that Chainlink offers for blockchains to connect to other chains and for developers to do amazing stuff.
Okay. Very cool. I think, before we dive into the actual integration myself, I do want to talk a little talk kind of about like CCIP and maybe its differentiators, right? Like what are the main features that devs might be interested in?
Definitely, definitely. So I think when choosing to build with cross-chain interoperability protocols, in my opinion, the first thing you want to look at is security. This historically has been a highly, highly risky, insecure part of our industry. I think it's almost over half of all hacks in our industry are cross-chain hacks. I think the last time I checked, it was almost $3 billion of hacks just from cross-chain, that category. So you wanna make sure that when you're choosing to build cross-chain, you do so with a secure protocol, and that is where CCIP delivers absolutely. So I think that's a key thing.
Oh no. Hello, Michael, we have you
Hey,
again.
I'm not sure what's up here. I've got a strong connection. Is it
I don't know,
something up
maybe
with?
it's, it might be on our tech side, unclear. Um, but I
Okay, no
guess
worries.
I'll ping the support team. Meanwhile, you are doing great picking up where you left off.
Yeah, so things
Yeah.
for developers. First of all, it's highly secure. And then the main features for CCIP are the ability to send messages cross-chain, the ability to send tokens cross-chain, connecting liquidity, and a unique feature to CCIP is sending both of those together simultaneously. So that's what's really cool. So as an example, you could send, and we call those programmable token transfers. So as an example, you could send a token with a message riding on top of it across chains and specify in that message what to do when the token arrives. So, okay, I'm going to send a token from Scroll to Ethereum mainnet. And when I send it there, deposit it in a staking protocol or something like that. All in the same transaction, one step, which makes for a very clean user experience. So yeah, those are just some of the features and reasons why CCIP is unique. As I mentioned, the security model and the security architecture, which we can get into detail later, and the features to really build whatever you want as a developer and flexibility.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was a very bold statement, I feel like, when you're like, Chainlink is to blockchains as the internet is to computers. But it makes a lot of sense from the perspective, like you were mentioning, like interacting with the real world, making those connections, things like that. So it's a good analogy. Not spicy, bold analogy, but we love big moves here. Um, so I kind of want to, I guess now that we have the overview, dive in a little bit deeper from like the scroll perspective, right? This is a recent integration. I think one of the things I run into as like a dev building is just like figuring out what to do. I think there's so much um stuff out there. One of the things, at least like I'm not necessarily someone like looking to build like dApps like products on my own. Like, okay, let me rephrase. I don't have founder energy, but I have builder energy. And I think what's always really interesting is like leading with interesting tech that is out there and like tinkering around and playing with stuff. So for like devs on Scroll, like let's talk about use case inspiration. Do you have any recommendations for people wanting to dig their fingers in now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if you want to dig in, totally agree. That's
Um, Let me see. Oh no, I am also okay. Cool. Hello. Best thing is to just
yeah. So the best thing is to just dive in and play around with the protocol, start tinkering. We have hackathons. Usually, it's once in the spring, something in the fall, and tons of stuff year round at events and various places like meetups. And so, yeah, I think just dive in. In terms of the use cases, what's amazing with CCIP is the flexibility to build what you want to build. Um, so if you want to build something to do with DeFi, CCIP has an opportunity there. If you want to build something with gaming, CCIP is possible there. If you're interested in NFTs, you could use CCIP there. Um, Various different use cases that come to mind. There's hundreds of things on Chainlink ecosystem as a website with more ideas, but yeah, top of mind, I think we've seen people building cross-chain NFTs. So on Scroll, you have a community, you want to do an NFT mint, and then hey, you want to bring more people into your base on Scroll, and you want to expand your reach. Maybe you have the opportunity to Scroll as your home base and reach out to other communities and chains to have them mint the Scroll NFT. Um, you want to do something on mainnet chain from Scroll, where you have your home base and most of your liquidity and your assets. That's great. You can do a token transfer or programmable token transfer, and uh, do something like send the token and instantly deposit it into a protocol, or send the token and have it immediately staked, and then you're earning a yield or something like that, and the receipt token is transferred back to you in the same transaction. So those are all sorts of things as well. If your home base is on Scroll and you want to tap into other communities, we've seen people build multi-chain and cross-chain governance via CCIP, where you can actually do all of your voting on Scroll, but send the results to any other chain that you're connected with. So yeah, those are just a few of the things that people can start building. But honestly, any category in our industry that you are building and that you want to interoperate with other chains, other communities, CCIP is a great opportunity and great place to do that.
cool. I mean, off the top of your head, um, do you know of any like dApps using it right now? Like, oh, secretly we've actually interacted with CCIP already in this, like, use case or, like, application. Um,
Yeah, I think a key user of CCIP, and actually publicly, if you just search on Google, you can see their proposals, is Aave. And so Aave is obviously the biggest lending protocol. I think it's 16 billion TVL, probably more. I'm not fully up to speed, but they're huge. Um, and Aave initially used CCIP for a cross-chain governance use case, as I mentioned, um, and simplifying again their operations for governance and votes, tallying votes, conducting votes on chains that have lower transaction fees than, for example, just mandating people to use Ethereum, which, you know, if the Ethereum fees are high, then that's a problem. So that's one use case that they had started with. Um, they then also introduced Aave Go, which is a stablecoin, decentralized stablecoin. And Go just integrated CCIP for cross chain transfers. So Go can now be transferred from Ethereum mainnet to Arbitrum, and soon many more chains, which connects that liquidity and enables users on, for example, Arbitrum and DeFi on Arbitrum to now use the Go token. Um, and then even Aave has written about their V4 and Aave 2030 plans, which are super exciting. I'm a huge fan of Aave and everything they do in this space. And within their plans, they have a kind of high level summary at what cross chain liquidity would look like with Aave powered by CCIP. And yeah, I'm back.
how
How
that
that
can
could fundamentally,
fundamentally
how that could really fundamentally shift how we think about liquidity and lending protocols when you have the ability to do things from a central interface and interact with various different chains. So yeah, that's just an example of one major user, and there are tons others that have integrated CCIP already. There's tons of uh, token bridges and interfaces that have built on top of CCIP, which is really kind of the right now it's the most common use case for cross-chain protocols is sending just a token from chain to chain. But I'm excited for a future where protocols build deeper with their integration with CCIP, and I think the potential is still untapped. And yeah, excited to see more.
Yeah, yeah. Super cool. Definitely like, oh yeah, Aave is the big player. And it's good hearing that they're already leveraging that tech. I also want to call out, I know you keep dropping, totally fine. For those of you out there watching where it's actually intentional. This is to prove that we're not AI, I guess, because AI would never make these mistakes, right? Or not mistakes. I guess it would be perfect. AI is perfect. Um, but regardless, I do want to I think, we've got an idea of use case and, like, high level of CCIP. I wanna kind of do a deeper dive into it from the perspective of, security is probably the number one thing you're thinking about when evaluating different cross-chain protocols. So if you can talk a bit more about like how it works, what security features are in there. I know there's something called the risk management network. If you can explain what that is. Um, yeah, so take the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think best way to kind of explain how CCIP works is it's not CCIP is not just one uh, network. CCIP is actually multiple decentralized networks, and this risk management network, which I can get into, working together in order to ensure highly secure and robust cross-chain interoperability. How it works from a high level is you have chain A, chain B, and three of these networks that operate together. And so the first network is called the committing decentralized Oracle network, or committing Dawn. And the committing Dawn essentially takes, okay, here's all the transactions that you want to send, and the data that wants to be passed from chain A to chain B, and it writes that from chain A to chain B. But then that's not good enough, because that's just one network uh, coming to consensus. We then say, okay, the risk management network must validate and approve what's going on with that other network. And then the third network, the executing Dawn, actually executes the transactions. So if you follow the whole flow, it's one network passing the message, the risk management network uh, validating, and then the executing network actually executing. And what this is really comes down to is this extremely robust defense in depth security, whereby if at any point there are false messages or any sort of anomalies in the messages, any sort of adversaries trying to exploit the system, the risk management network can see that and actually completely pause the system. So, getting back to what I mentioned earlier, with almost $3 billion in hacks, this security model of CCIP is just extremely robust and has been built to prevent all of that from ever occurring. So that's kind of how it works from a high level, and diving into specifically the risk management network, which does exactly as it's named. Um, it not only uh, validates and provides secondary approval of everything that you want to do cross chain, but it detects potential anomalies. And those two principles are unique and new to CCIP, the risk management network, and its capabilities. And yeah, from I think I'm just hopping in and out for some reason, but yeah, I'll keep going. But yeah, from basic principles perspective, that's how CCIP ensures extreme security. And seems like
Wait.
I'm going a little more frequent. Is it Chrome is the issue, or Chrome is
I don't know. Like the people say, or I guess background support says usually it's if you're not on Chrome, the latest version, or maybe remove any background apps. But
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's like yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um
no worries.
yeah, but we're gonna be closing soon, so maybe I can get a better grasp on where our streaming platform is going right now.
It's all good.
Yeah,
All
so
good.
thank you for your patience and everyone else's patience.
Yeah, all good. I think yeah, where I was is just, so it's we have multiple networks to secure and validate and ensure reliability. The risk management network, which is the new innovation, almost like a watchdog that ensures everything is good, and if it's not, immediately pause. And then the last thing is client diversity. So the risk management network is actually written in an entirely different programming language than the other two networks of CCIP. And so this is actually a principle called N version programming that is introduced and was introduced by NASA and industries where absolute mission critical infrastructure is required. And so we've taken that same approach for CCIP and been just engineered to be extremely secure with multiple client uh, diversity, meaning that it just further reduces and near eliminates the chance of any sort of uh, exploit being possible. And yeah, that's kind of the security model in a nutshell.
That's actually insane. I feel like I never hear of anyone going that in depth with regards to, how they're building out their protocol. Which is, I think everyone should always think about multi-client diversity at every level, um, including, uh, you know, it's, I guess, Ethereum, but then also CCIP. So that's a fun fact, or a good fact is how I'd put it. Um, so to cap things off, I think we have a good idea of CCIP and why we should use it. Um, I kind of want to touch on, what are next steps for people interested. So, is there anything coming up immediately in Q4? Do you have alpha that I can spread and tell everyone I know? um,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I think the next few weeks for Chainlink are where we have our SmartCon conference and tons of stuff going on. And so, if you're interested in CCIP, I think now is a great time to start building and give it a try. We have uh, stuff going on, as I mentioned, virtually and in person. So if you want to start building, we have a boot camp that aired in August that's now on our YouTube that is more in depth for developers who want to just dive in and try out these features. And that one's a little bit more intermediate level. Beyond that, yeah, we have tons of blog content, article content, video content, various different use cases that I mentioned where people can get started and check it out. And yeah, it's a super busy time of the year with our conference SmartCon coming up. And so in terms of alpha, I would just say stay tuned for that conference and whatever can be released there, you'll want to hear about it.
Okay, very cool. Well, thank you for that. Excited for all the fun things that are coming with Chainlink. I always think it's cool how involved you guys are with like hackathons and educational initiatives and all of that. So it was a joy having you on. And I guess I'll wrap up. And yeah, okay. Thanks again so much, Michael.
Thanks,
Um,
Emily. Yeah, much appreciated. Have a
okay.
great day.